Okay, we'll start today's session with having a look at what is happening on the news front for this week. Um, these are the highlights of the week for us. For anybody who's newer in the room, just those times are in my local time, which is Sydney-based time. So make an adjustment accordingly for yourself. This week for me, it appears the currency that, or the pair that is under the spotlight a little bit more than all the others is probably the GBP USD. We have a big Wednesday on the GBP front. We have a whole bunch of stuff happening on Wednesday, and also if we consider the other half of the pair, the US pair, this is late Friday night or early Saturday morning. Okay, so as well as that one there. So probably this week, the one that we're going to get the most volatility out of is probably going to be the GBP USD. So just keep that in mind. Normally when I look at my news, I try to spot out the currency, the one that's going to move the most or that I feel is going to be the most because it's under the most attention, and I just keep it on my radar a little bit more than normal. Okay, so this week it's the GBP USD. Tomorrow will be interesting. This Kiwi report is which is not tomorrow, Wednesday morning. Okay, these two here are going to be quite interesting. Coupled up with the USD data, the NZ USD could be another one that will move around a little bit this week. Okay, so that's what we have on the news front. Just note those times, dates, and just keep it in your diary. I always have this screenshot that I'm showing you right now. I pretty much carry it for the entire week. Or if not, just go to a website that gives it to you, just so that you're alert and you understand what's happening for the week. Okay? All right, let's get stuck straight into it. Yeah, as always, if you have any questions, type them in, and as I see them, I will address them. Okay? So if I bring up my trading platform, and let's get started on the Aussie dollar this week. All right. Now, the Aussie dollar, this is interesting because as part of a group of traders that I discuss currencies with, everybody's was a split opinion, and pretty much when I think it was about a week and a half ago, or almost about 10 days, 10 trading days ago now, when the US came out and basically said that we are stopping our QE program, which is the quantitative easing program, which basically, to summarize it for you, meant that they were going to stop printing US dollars, which basically gave that currency strength. Okay, when that came out, it kind of opened up the gateway for the Aussie dollar to plummet down, and as I was talking to, and I probably mentioned it to you guys as well, that to me 85 was the first target. Okay, now 85 came under a lot of pressure on Friday night, or for the Friday trading day, if you want to call it that. Just bear with me, I'm just going to change colors on my pen. So we did come under pressure down here, but it held, okay, and it's basically bounced back a little bit. Now, does that mean it's going to go back up to the 90 levels? I don't know, but what we can see now, I'm on a daily chart right now, what you can see is a typical downward moving market, and then having a solid period of congestion or consolidation, and then we had a clear break in the downward direction. So from this picture that everybody can see here, or this chart, let me zoom in on it a little bit more so we can all see it clearly. What can we see here? What's the most clear thing that we could see here? If we were looking for a trade on the Aussie dollar, okay, now Bijan says convergence. Convergence on this one is not quite ready yet, Bijan. Okay, but yes, there is a little bit there. I can see it. So let me show you guys what he's talking about. We can see that the price movement is going in a downward direction while my awesome oscillator is moving in an upward direction, which could indicate somewhat of a bounce into this area there. Okay, the only thing I think this is a little bit early, and the reason why I say that is we're still on the reds over here on my awesome oscillator, and if, for example, today we get a big, or tomorrow we get a big red candle going back down, what you'll find is that this indicator will continue to build down, and then you'll find that there may be no divergence at all. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I said convergence, but yes, I meant divergence. So it's a little bit early for me on this one, just a little bit early. I wouldn't be jumping the gun. So definitely what I'm trying to say is long opportunities, I'm not looking for any longs at all on the Aussie. If anything, the trades that I'm looking for is the other way around. Now, nobody's called it out yet. What's the trade that I'm looking at here, guys? What's the number one, the clearest trade, the bread and butter type trade that we can see here? Has anybody got it? Can you just type it in? Let me know. Okay, Phil's got it. Paul, no, not quite. Anybody else? Elizabeth says a 127, no. Stephen holds a 61.8, no. Okay, I'll show it to you. This is a typical breakout trade. Okay, remember what breakout trades look like. Basically, I'll just draw in this section of my chart, but basically the most typical kind of breakout trade looks like this, does a bit of this, does a bit of this, and then it breaks in a downward direction. Have a look at this chart right now. It's come straight down. It's done a little bit of this, a little bit of this. It's breaking down. Okay. The only thing is that when we do get this breakdown over here, we try to wait for some kind of a pullback, and then we hit the trade as such. So Phil is the only one that's spelt it out for me. We are looking for a 13 EMA touch. So what I'm looking for is for this market, this is my 13 EMA, by the way. I'm just going to try and draw over it. Okay, so it's going to do something like that. So what I'm looking for is for this market to come, touch that, and at that point, I'm interested in selling it. Okay, so and now I am working off a daily chart. So basically, it does mean that you're going to have it's a trade. If we get a pullback, and it looks to me that it might be around the area of about 87 as an example, okay, if you get an 87 sell, hang tight on this trade, because we're really trying to ride it all the way back down to 85, and hopefully we break through 85, it really opens up the door, and this could be a trade that could take us all the way down to about 83. Okay, so it is a very large trade. Now, I'm not going to place this trade right now, but I'm just trying to explain the principles of it for those of you who are interested in it. Okay, size yourself accordingly, because you are going to have to place a stop at around about the 89 level. So we're talking about a 200-point stop. Now, the principles of trading a breakout are the same on different time frames. This chart looks classic type. So if you wanted to get in on this, maybe you could get in. Let's talk about different levels. The 13 EMA is one that we all know. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so the 13 EMA could be around about there where I've got my crosshairs right now, which would make it about an 87.10 sell. Okay, it's on a round number. It's not a fib combination with a round number, but usually get some kind of a reaction on the round numbers. So an 87.10 could be on the cards. You will have to put your stop at around about 89. About 89.15 at least, or 89.20. If you want to wait a little bit more, you could try get in a little bit higher. Try get in off a 61 fib. So let me show you. So one theory is you're trying to get in there, okay, which is the 13 EMA. But you could use your Fibonacci's to help you get in, and I've just drawn it for you all the way there. So you could try and jump in up here, which is your 61 level. It doesn't coincide with a round number, but it's another way to try and enter this trade. I get the feeling though, if this does what it's classically showing, it's not going to go up that high. Okay, and we are right now just on about the 38. Usually the 38 fib coincides very, very closely with my 13 EMA. Okay, so these are good levels to jump it there. You could, if you're a little bit scared, just sit it out, or if you want to try to get a better level, you could try getting a 61.8. Okay, I'm not going to take the trade, but I'm just trying to explain it to you. And the only reason I'm not going to take it is because it's one that it has got a very large stop. Okay, and on this particular account that I'm on right now, I don't have the room for it. Okay, but does everybody understand the trade? Any questions on the setup? So we're all clear? We understand? Okay, fantastic. Good. So that's the Aussie USD. Now, the other major factor which is not helping the Aussie dollar at all is the fact that gold has just been plummeting. Okay. Now, the Aussie dollar is a currency which follows strongly or has strong correlations with commodities because we are a commodity producing country, very similar to, say, the US CAD. Okay, and the fact that gold has just been going to the floor, basically our Aussie dollar has consequently had similar reactions as well. Okay, but again, the key for the drop so far has been the fact that the US dollar has been so strong. Okay, so that's what I can see on the Aussie dollar. I couldn't find any fib levels or any active trades that I could place on right now for us. But as a position trader, this is what I can see, and really we're looking for a little bit more of a pullback around about that level. Try get an entry, okay, and if we do get through that 85 level, it really does open the door for even as far as 82, okay, and basically once we're into that area, the 80 comes into play very, very strongly. Okay, so keep an eye on that one, and we'll just progress and see how it pans out for us. Okay, let us move on. If you do have a question, type it in. I'll answer it for you. Let's have a look at the Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD looks very, very similar. Okay, there is a couple of key differentiators that basically changes the picture a little bit, or perhaps a little bit more, when I compare the Aussie dollar to the Euro USD. Now let me bring the Aussie dollar. Okay, there's my Aussie dollar. All right, and here is my Euro USD. The Euro USD has been on a slide for a lot longer than the Aussie dollar. Okay, and if I go to a weekly chart, okay, so I've moved over to a weekly chart. The only reason why I'm doing this is because I'm interested to find out whereabouts we are right now in this area, okay, because I might be interested in looking for a bounce, but I need to know where I am. I wouldn't trade off the weekly chart, but I'm basically just going to just check a couple of things. So if I do a fib level right now, okay, I can see that right now on a weekly chart I'm sitting right on a fib, on a 78.6. So that's actually quite encouraging if I was interested in having a look at a little sneaky kind of trade in that direction. All right, now there is a reason why I'm showing you this. Just hold on and I'll explain. All right, so on my weekly chart, I can tell that I'm in a fib zone area. Okay, now you wouldn't have been able to see this on any other chart other than a weekly. Oh, I can't get rid of my square now. I'll just leave it. Okay, so if I step back into a daily, just bear with me 1 second. I've got to get rid of this. There we go. So I'll go back into my daily chart now. And the first thing, Bijan in the other chart said there was a bit of divergence. In this one, it is confirmed. Okay, if you have a look, these lows, very similar to the Aussie, these are very much on the up, but there is one major difference. This last one on my awesome oscillator is blue. Okay, it has turned around and confirmed. Now, does that mean it can't continue to go down? No, absolutely not. But however, this one is more advanced than the Aussie, and I do have divergence evident on this chart. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to explain right now? Can I just get a show of hands if we understand and we follow what I'm talking about? Yes? Great. Okay, so on the Euro USD, on a weekly chart, we're sitting at the 78.6 fib level, okay, which is encouraging. 2, on a daily chart, I have divergence confirmed. And one last thing, let me show you and see if anybody likes this as a trade. Just give me 1 second. Can anybody guess what it might be just looking at that chart? I think Lois has already called it. Let's have a look. I can't find my templates. Give me 1 moment. What about now? On a daily chart, for those of you who've seen a lot of the strategies, what have we got? Can someone call it for me? Okay, Brett's got it. Alan's got it. Murphin, Rick. No. Karen. Yes. We've actually got a fishing strip set up. Okay. So if you haven't seen this strategy, basically these two candles give us a setup to basically go long. Now, I've got 3 reasons to take this trade now. 3 reasons. 1, there is divergence. 2, we've got the straight out fishing strip strategy. And 3, on my weekly charts, this area here is the 78.6 fib level. Okay. Now, if we're talking about trading and probabilities, that's a good enough reason to have a go at this trade. Okay. So if you're going to take this one, I will, but I've got to place it on another account, so I can't take it on this one right now. So I'm just going to write it down and try and get an entry in. But basically, your stop is going to have to be we're a little bit late on it for a proper fishing strip, so you may want to try and get a pending order limit buy, but your stop's going to have to be about 130. Okay, your first target's going to be about 145. Target 2 is going to be about 400 pips. All right. Now, I don't know how much bounce we're going to get out of this, but everything is lined up. So on the Euro USD this week, basically I am interested in a long, okay, as a fishing strip trade. Now, some of you entered this trade already this morning. I can see Lois did. Well done. So you're already in this trade. Okay, so let me change back. The only reason I did not compare it to, give me 1 moment, guys. Okay, the only reason I'm not looking for a sell like in the Aussie is because I'm at a very, very critical level, and the movement on the euro has been far greater than what it has been on the Aussie. Okay, simple as that. Paul saying I would be careful of the resistance trend line. Okay, so is that what you mean, Paul? Something like that? Is that what you're referring to? Yep. Okay. All right, it's not so confirmed to me as yet, so, but in any case, let's say that is the line there. There's about 150 or 180 pips towards that line in any case. Okay, so there is room over there. And on the plus side, if we do cross that line, it really opens up a lot of room in that direction. Okay, fantastic. All right, so that's the Euro USD. Let's move on. Let's see what else we have. Okay, let's have a look at the GBP USD. Pretty much you can see that all these patterns, all these currency pairs have a similar pattern, and it's largely on the back of strong US data, and everything else has been starting to go weak against it. All right. Now on the GBP USD, I'm on a daily chart there. I have found us a fib level. Okay. Again, this one looks like trying to find opportunities to sell into it, but I found us a fib level, so let's have a look at it. It's one of the trades that we like. There it is. I've stepped into a 4-hour chart, and is it obvious for everybody? Can we see it? Help me out. What trade am I looking for? Okay, so Rick says it's a 78.6 fib. Anybody else? Greg says a 0.5. Alan says a 1.6, sell at 161. Anybody else? Okay. Yep. Okay. Great. The trade is this one. From the peak, all right, all the way to the bottom. Now remember, I'm on a 4-hour chart, so that is definitely a peak. It's a better peak than this if I was to use that over there. Okay, so I'm happy with this one. So that's my A, my B point, and then if I push out and project all the way to my 78.6 level, and we'll call that a C point, it happens to fall on 161. So I've got a fib big round number combination. So therefore we can try and put in a sell to sell into that to basically try and get a bounce off the market. Okay. Now it is far away, but remember what I said at the start of this session. This week is a GBP week, so this trade could come into play. 200 pips, the way the market's been moving recently, can come into play very, very easily. Okay, so for all of you who want to place it, I'll place this one right now. Just bear with me. Any questions on the trade? Everybody understands why we're doing it? Okay. So I'm going to try getting a 161 sell. Let's go for a 2040, which will make it 61.20. My stop and my profit will be 60.60. And let's place that. And there we go. Okay, so we can see now by the markings on my chart that we want the market to continue to go up there, hit that little green line, and then bounce back to the red line as such. There's the stop. We all clear on that one? So I've placed that one now, so that one's in the system. Anything else that we can see on the GBP USD? Help me out. Does anybody see anything else that I can analyze? I just saw something, just bear with me. There's a couple of things that interest me here. I'm very interested to see. Let me just check if I have a channel here. It's very steep, but let me just check. Okay, there's somewhat of a channel over there. I'm more interested in this top line. I'm interested in this line over here. I'm interested in that top one there. And particularly I'm interested when I cross over, I might be able to get in a trade way earlier and in the journey up to that level up there. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just monitor this area as we come across, okay? And if we do break it, I'll get the feeling it'll be around about here somewhere. Just keep an eye on your divergence and just have a look for other things. We may be able to get a very nice break-in trade heading towards our entry trade. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So it's not ready yet, but you just need to keep an eye on it. As it starts to approach it, if you are unsure, take a screenshot and send it to me and we'll have a look at it together. Okay? That's one way that I'll definitely look at it because then sometimes I forget. Okay? So I'm interested to see what happens in this circle area as the market heads towards us. Okay? All right, that's all I can see on the GBP USD this week. We've placed a sell at 161. Let's carry on. Okay, gold. There's absolutely no way that I'm interested in buying gold at the moment. All the fundamentals, everything is pretty much all the US dollar strength has killed gold. Normally, if we talk about safe havens, okay, when the market panics and they move money towards what they call safe haven, either they'll move it towards gold, okay, or a precious or silver or an oil or something like that, or they move it away from a commodity and towards a currency. And in the last 2 weeks, it seems all the move has been away from gold and towards the US dollar. So consequently, gold has plummeted quite significantly. It did have a strong recovery day on Friday. Nevertheless, not interested at all in buying it. If anything, I'd be looking for pullbacks and for key areas to basically sell into it. Just from a chart point of view, around about that level there looks like a good entry. For those of you who are interested in selling gold, I'm not going to trade it, but a pullback in towards that area there, which puts me at about the 1200 mark, okay, or just shy of the 1200. It has a strong psychological level because it's a 1200 for starters. Also, the market seems to have a bit of memory in that area. So I get the feeling that we may get there and we may get some kind of a pullback down and further trying to break this to push down into the next level. Okay, so this area, the 1200 area, is an area that you should keep an eye on, keep all your alerts on, and it could be an area where it's worth having a bit of a try at it to see if the level holds and pulls back for us. Okay, so right now my feelings on gold are that I'm not interested in buying it at all. I'm only possibly looking for sells on it. We are at 1173 right now, but I get the feeling that that area there that I've marked out is the optimum entry. Now the downside is we may not get up there. So if you really want to participate, that's up to yourself. All right. I can't see anything else on gold at this particular stage. Okay, so I'll leave that one as it is and I'll move on to the next one. Okay, the US yen. This is been an interesting combination. All right, now we've had almost 1,000 pip movement in just over 2 weeks from or just shy of about 3 weeks, and it's come really on a combination of two things. One, we already spoke about the US basically saying that they're stopping their quantitative easing program, okay, and then on the opposite side of the coin, the Japanese government announced that they are going to introduce a quantitative easing program. So it's had a doubling effect. One currency saying we're not going to print money, and the other one saying we are going to print money. So the net result is US dollar gains in strength, all right, and at the same time the Japanese yen is losing strength. Now, because they're a pair against each other, it just amplifies the movement significantly. And you can see on a day like this particular candle here, where there was it's a 300 pip day. Okay, now the US yen traditionally is not a currency that moves massive amounts. For the US yen to have a 300 pip day, it is a significant impact that's happening into the marketplace. Okay, the way that I see this one, I don't want to get in the way of the Japanese government. Okay, I don't want to get in the way of the US government. This simply says this market is attempting to break the 115 and it's trying to go to 120. All right, so the only thing that I would consider here is buying into it as a pullback. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that think, hang on, Christian, you want to buy this? It's already moved 1,000 pips. How much more can it go? Now, you've got to remember that 1,000 pips is a combination of two different countries doing the exact opposite of each other. All right. There are a couple of fib levels that I did find. I don't think we're even going to get anywhere near an entry there. All right. Can anybody see it right now? It's actually moved away a little bit. It's not right on the money, but this is the level. I think it was better before, but we made bigger highs. This level here, which is the 78.6 at a 50, and it's not even a 50 now, it's like 41. I don't think this is going to come into play, so it's not even worth placing the order. All right. The only orders that I think you may be interested in is if you want to buy into this, buying in at the 23.6 could be a nice level. If you're a little bit more conservative, you may want to wait to see if you get a pullback into the 38.2 fib retracement. Now those retracements are based on going all the way from down here to up here and then coming down to the 23.6 or coming down to the 38.2. Does anybody have any questions on the US yen? Do we understand what I'm basically trying to explain? This is a move that has been driven fundamentally, okay? And it's fundamentally because it's a comparison of one economy to another economy, the US economy compared to the Japanese economy, and they're both doing the exact opposite of each other, which is making the difference between them magnified. Okay? So if it's too much for you to handle, don't trade this one because this one is going to be one that's going to move a lot. Okay? If you trade anything yen in the last week, you will understand that it has moved significantly. All right? If it's too volatile for you, stay away from it. Have a look at something that's moving a bit slower, the Aussie dollar or the Euro US or the US Swissy or something like that. All right? But this one, I don't want to sell it. Even though it could pull back, but I'm not interested in taking the risk in the selling. The only thing that I would do is perhaps buy it at one of those levels as I'm indicating there. All right? I just want to check one thing. Okay, there's nothing yen on the horizon for this week, but never underestimate the Bank of Japan. They can just turn up now in the next 5 minutes and make some ludicrous announcement that moves the Japanese yen currency significantly. And I've been trading the euro yen for the last probably best part of 6 years, and you just never have a trade without a stop when you're trading the yen, believe me. Okay. All right, there's nothing there. I just wanted to double check. Okay, so that's the US yen for this week. Let's have a look at the euro yen. Okay, this chart looks just as impressive. This one has made about 1,000 pip movement as well in not a very long period of time. What have I got? I've got a 61 buy at 138. Where is that? I can't see it. Oh, there it is. It's way, way, way out of the money again, but I do have a 61.8 retracement coinciding with a round number. I don't know if it's going to get triggered. It is very, very far away. We've got to move nearly 600 pips. So not sure if it's worth placing. If you want to place it, by all means do so. It's very, very far away, but there's the trade right there. It's a 61.8 coinciding with a 138 round number. I am on a daily chart. Does everybody see that? Yep, great. Now, on the daily chart, one thing that I don't like about this chart is that we are expanding our trading area. All right, so if you can see that was your parameter and that was your level, we broke to a lower low and then we went and broke to a higher high. So naturally, what I'm kind of going to be looking for is I want the market to come back on itself. Now, this is going to take some time, but if this forms, we could get a really, really good trade out of this particular pair once it's stabilized and we can see it happening. So let me jump out a few time zones and let's see if I can see anything on smaller time frames. Bear with me. There's a bit of a breakout trade on the downward side on a 1 hour chart. Okay, let me show it to you. Oops, wrong way. You can see that the market is starting to give us a zone. Now these are 1 hour candles, so that's a solid, there's more than 24 candles there. So the market's been trading for about a day at a 70 pip range. So the way that we would trade this, if you're interested in it, we would wait to get a break downwards and then wait for some kind of a pullback towards your 13 EMA and then hit it. Okay, your stop would be the other side of the zone that we've marked out, and whatever that distance is there, you can target about 1.5, which would be there somewhere. Okay, I've just done it all graphically. Okay, does everybody see that? Lois is saying there's a triangle. Okay, we're still marking out the same zone, I believe, Lois. Give me 1 second. Lois is saying it's still marking out the same zone. It looks like the downward break may be on. It's a tricky one. So, but yeah, so I see it as a breakout trade down. So if anybody is interested in it, there you go, Euro Yen. Other than that, I don't have anything on the Euro Yen. It's not showing anything, but this may, London today, may be the catalyst that puts us underneath. Wait for the pullback and then see if you want to have a go at it. Okay? Does everybody understand it? It's not the best looking triangle, but yes, give me 1 second. I just want to check something. One moment. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. So if I toggle between the chart, now it's inverted, it's the other way around, so basically this, okay, the trade is the other way around. If we're going to trade the triangle, we're trying to trade it back up to that high, which actually makes me feel more comfortable because the yen's got so much weakness that it would make a lot more sense. Okay, so if you trade the triangle, so it's Lois and anybody else who was looking at the triangle, you don't trade the triangle down. Okay, you got to trade the triangle up. If you're trading it down, you're actually not trading the triangle, you're trading the breakout. All right, so it gets a bit tricky. So it's either you trade the triangle up or you can trade the breakout down. Okay, I believe either one of these has got good merit. Just look for if you're trading the triangle up, look for a good bullish candle to close above and then hit it. If you're trading the breakout down, wait for a retracement and then hit it. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Did I lose anybody there in that explanation? Okay, so we're all good? Fantastic. All right, so keep an eye on that one. Let's move on. Kiwi dollar. There's a couple of things that I saw on the Kiwi dollar. The first one was on a daily chart, very similar to the Euro USD, we have some divergence. Okay, so on the daily chart, this is going down and this is going up, but we have the little blue one which tells me it's confirmed. All right, now it already has taken somewhat of a move. It was nicer this morning. The interesting thing about this is that there's also a little gap right there on the Kiwi dollar which has not closed as yet. So let me show that to you. I just want to change time frame so you can see it. So if I go to, let's say, a 15-minute chart, we can now clearly see that there's still this gap from this morning which is still open. Okay, so market's going to try. Now it doesn't mean it's going to succeed, but it's going to try. Okay, and on a 15-minute chart, all right, now have a look at that compared to all of this. There's divergence, so there is pressure on a 15-minute chart to come back and try and drive and close this gap. All right, I don't know, I get the feeling that it might come and then continue to do what it's going to do. So just keep that in the back of your head for anybody that's trying to try and trade the gap. So if you are trying to trade the gap, all right, there's a little bit of merit to have a little crack at it. However, what I don't like about it is this. I'm still on a 15-minute chart. What I don't like is this little build up here. Okay, it's got this written all over it. All right, so if it does break above that, don't get stubborn on it. Stop yourself out if you're going to try and trade that space. I'm not a gap trader, but I do have a lot of friends who are. But most of them are already out of all gap trades by about this time on a Monday. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let me go back to what I was originally looking at. On a daily chart, we said we saw some divergence which would support a trade in this direction. Okay, so for any of you who are happy with that, by all means, there you have it. If I now step into a 4-hour chart, I can clearly see that I'm starting to have a bit of a channel here. So for me, out of all the things that I've just shown you, okay, and sometimes you've got to change a couple of time frames just to try and find things. Out of all the things that I've shown you, the most established is this channel, in my opinion. Okay, so therefore I'm going to try and channel trade. So I've got 3 touches down the bottom. I've got 1 at the top. I'm looking for a second touch. Okay, you could argue that maybe I can bring that there. Okay, and now if I ignore some of those points and start my channel again, I've got 1, 2, 3, and then 3 at the bottom, okay, which makes it legitimate. The bottom one's holding, apart from that little glitch there. So what I'm interested in now is I'm interested every time we get towards these boundaries to see what happens and how I can trade this. Now, I do have a long bias on it because of that divergence. So if you take if you're in the trade already right now, and you then see this line being broken, and it takes out that high there, it would give you definitely a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that you're in the trade. Okay, so that's what I can see on it. I'm not willing to trade it right now. I don't have enough evidence to show me a good enough trade. Now, what do we got? Lois is saying there's a 38.2 at 78. Let's have a look at that. Give me 1 second. I will check that. $78 is okay. Oh, it's kind of close. All right, can everybody see that? Did I get that on the right spot? I think I did. I've got the right spot, Lois. If I go to my daily chart, I can see that I'm right at the peak and I'm right at the bottom. So I'm on the right spot. The trade that Lois has just pointed out for us is if you go from up there all the way down to my B point down here and then pull back to the 38.2, it's coinciding with a round number. And it's also very, very close to coinciding with this channel. So that's worth a go. And if it does come back, it'll also try and close that gap as well. So there's a couple of reasons to take that. So can everybody see the trade that we're talking about? Let's get a vote. What do we want to do? Do we want to sell at 78? We'll go with 2040. Okay, I'll call it out as I see it. Elizabeth, yes. Sam, yes. Rick, yes. Alan, yes. Paul, yes. Greg, yes. David, yes. Anybody else? Regina, maybe. Karen, yes. Elizabeth, yes. Brett, yes. Murphin, yes. Okay, so it's pretty unanimous. What's Lois saying? 2360 came back again the other way. The 23.6 failed. Lower, so this one there failed. Okay, it's a 50 and a 23, so it's not the best combination, but it failed. But this one's on a full round number, so this one's got a much stronger chance. Now Karen is saying, what about the divergence? Yes, divergence doesn't always work, so this is why we need to put in all of our facts and we need to make a decision. Okay, so we got a strong case to go long, but I think we've got a stronger case to go short. Phil says, as a T-chaser, it has broken the low a couple of days ago. Okay, so short? Yeah, it would be short. Okay, so it's another short. Now, if we take a 78, we're only taking a 2040, so it's a short. It's a little trade. It's not a big trade. Okay, I'm going to place it. Done. Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to try and jump it at 78 even. Which will make my stop 79.20, and it'll make my target 77.60. And we're in. There we go. Did I get that right? Yes, I did. Okay, all good? Fantastic. Last one for the week, Euro Aussie. Nice easy one to end on. Okay, can everybody see the trade? Let me know if you can. I'm on a 4-hour chart right now. Okay, Bijan says 61 buy. No. Rick says a 78. Can you buy? Yes, 78 buy. What's the level? Can you read it off my chart? It's a 78 buy. Everybody's got it. 143. Fantastic. And right now we're sitting at 143.90. So we're about 90 pips away. So this one's gonna it's gonna give us a bit of a scare. So I think this one may trigger. All right. So let's do it. Let's put it in. Buy limit. $143. My stop will be at 142.80. Oops, is that right? 142.80. There we go. And my target will be 143.40. And there we have it. All right, all good. Let me recap on what's happened today. What have we got? We've got 3 pending orders. We've got a sell GBP USD at 161. We have a sell Kiwi dollar at 78. And we have a buy Euro Aussie at 143. They're all 2040s, meaning 20-point stops, 40-point targets. So they're all 2-to-1 ratio trades. We also are keen to watch the Aussie dollar as we approach this area, see if it pulls back. The Euro, we have a daily fishing strip, so for anybody that wants to take that one, it's set right now, the divergence, fib and fishing strip. GBP we already spoke about. Gold, we said the the kill zone appears to be around about the 1200 if you want to sell into it. US yen only buys, okay, and tread carefully. Probably the 23.6 level would be a nice entry. Euro yen, we have either breakout down on a 1 hour chart, or you can trade up on that triangle. Just look for a bullish candle if you're trading on the way up, okay? And Kiwi dollar, we spoke about, we've got a 78 sell. And finally, Euro Aussie, we have a 143 buy. Any questions on any of that, guys? All clear? We have our plan for the week. Yes, lots of opportunities, Greg. The markets are starting to, well, off late, they've been really good. They've been very volatile, very active, which is what we love as traders. So it's all good. All right. If that's all we have for today, we'll call it a day. As always, if you're stuck on anything, just send me a picture. I'll look at it for you and I'll respond. Other than that, have a good trading week. I'll see you all on Thursday, same time, and we'll carry on from there. Cheers. Bye for now, guys.